doing?
I'm really well, thanks. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's fantastic to have you. I'm really excited to have this conversation.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Great.
So
I can
what would you like to know?
so many things, and actually I can see so many people joining us. Hello from
Hello.
Norwich. Hi everyone. Thank you so
Ah,
much for being with us today, everyone. Just so you know, so I'm going to ask a few questions to Ria, and then we'll open it up to a Q&A. So keep all your questions, and we'll get to that in about half an hour. But Ria, thank you so much for being with us today. I can see there's a good number of people joining us live. So let's
hi, Scott.
let's get started. Hi everyone. I met Ria this morning live.
Yes,
Great,
we went to
great.
Birmingham. It's so lovely, the people that you meet along your career, and they stay connected and they follow you on your journey, and it's wonderful. It's so supportive. So thank you.
That's absolutely fantastic. And this is something we're going to touch base on as well a lot, right? Network and how this is important throughout your career. So, Ria, you are a TV presenter, a broadcaster. You founded your own production company and also Wonder Woman TV, the female networking group that we are going to talk about a lot today. Can you tell us more about everything you do? And personally, I want to know as well how you do it all.
Sometimes I wonder myself, to be honest with you. I think,
Right.
okay, so first of all, so people will know me from being a presenter on ITV. I present the entertainment showbiz news on Lorraine every Friday live in the studio, which I love. I also present a series on ITV called All Around Britain, where myself and Alex Beresford go travelling literally all around the country, which is a brilliant way to meet people and just tell diverse stories, which is something that's really I'm passionate about. It's key to my values. But yeah, I set up Wonder Women TV, which is an online digital talk show 5 years ago. And that was really as a way of championing existing women that work in television for two reasons: to show young people the breadth of TV roles available, because I think when people look at our industry, they just think, oh, you can either be a director or a presenter. And there are literally hundreds of roles in telly. So it was really important to me to share stories from real people who do those jobs, to show people that there's lots of different jobs you could do. And also the second reason was to show women who are maybe at the midpoint of their careers. So maybe they've had some time out to have babies, or they've traveled the world and they've come back and they're not sure what they want to do, to really show them that, you can still be successful in your career, you can sidestep in your career, you can come to television from a completely different sector and industry and still do well. So those were the two reasons why I set that up. And then what happened, which I never expected, was that we got some amazing feedback from people that had viewed the show, and lots of women said, oh, this is so positive and just so real. How do we meet these women and actually hear them in person? And because my background, after I worked in television production, I actually was a publicist. So I worked in publicity for lots of different global entertainment brands. So I did a lot of live events in those roles. So hosting a live event for me is just an absolute joy, right? Yeah. So I created Wonder Women Live, which is the annual live event which we hold every year on International Women's Day. And that's how you can come and sit in the audience and hear these amazing stories from these incredible women firsthand, but then also you can network with them as well. And that's really important, because networking for the TV sector in particular is the lifeblood of our industry. We need to be able to network to be able to get those next production roles and those next jobs, and maybe find a mentor. So that's how Wonder Women Live evolved. And then, goodness, I don't know how I did it, but I launched a podcast last year. And that's a really nice way to have a more in-depth conversation with just one senior leader to talk about their career. And that obviously is distributed globally, which is brilliant. And then this year, we launched the Wonder Women Mentoring Program, which is something, again, I'm really passionate about, because that directly pairs women with senior leaders for a whole year of long-term structured mentoring. And that's how we really help elevate women to senior leadership.
It's amazing, and we are incredibly proud at Tide to be sponsoring the program and the mentoring program, because it's so important. And you know, you talked about connecting those women and making sure to give them visibility as well at every stages of their career, which I think is incredibly important. Can you tell us more as well about, you know, the program really focuses on the television and the creative industries, and why you think these industries and ecosystems in particular need, you know, need support for women in those industries?
Well, you know, television is an amazing industry. It's so creative. It's such a brilliant place to work. You know, every day is never the same. You get to work with some of the most talented people in the world, but there's a definite lack of diversity at the most senior leadership level. And I was recognizing there was lots of research that took place a couple of years ago where they found that when women hit pretty much 35, there's this huge amount of women leave the industry. And I was really digging into that, like, why are women feeling like they can't come back after having a baby? Like, what are the reasons that are pushing all these talented people out? You know, you work so hard to get in and you do so well to progress. Why should you have to abandon a career in telly just because you choose to become a mother, right? It's bonkers. Because men are having children and the families, and they're still progressing. So what are the barriers? What are the things that are not there to support women from climbing up? And once I did a bit of research in that, obviously had lots of conversations with women that work across the sector in production roles and also in corporate roles. What I found was there was a real absence of mentoring.
Right.
There was a complete absence of like panel discussions where senior leaders shared how they got to where they are. I mean, it's great to see that's happening now across lots of other sectors too, because it shows that, you know, people have been heard and we're progressing. But, you know, 5 years ago, this just wasn't in place. So for me, it was about, okay, how do we create some kind of support structure to support women in their careers so that they feel empowered to come back to work and that they're supported as they progress in their careers. And for me, the key thing was having long-term structured mentoring. I didn't have a mentor when I started in the industry, but I do mentor lots of different people. And I've seen the benefits of the impact of mentoring when it's long-term as opposed to short-term, say for 6 weeks. So I'm a real ambassador for that. I think you can really make a difference in someone's career if it's year-long mentoring, right, which is why we thought of doing it for a year with your support.
That's so fantastic. And the program is running for a full year, as you said, from January to January. You have 17 mentees at the moment,
yeah,
is that correct? And that and from all kind of jobs in the TV and the creative industries, right?
Yeah, that's something I'm really proud of. It was really important to me. I think in television for many years, we've been too London centric. I mean, when I started in TV, I lived in well, I lived in London, but then I had to move home when my family live in Yorkshire because the break between contracts meant that it was so uncertain and really risky to be paying rent to live in London when you didn't know when your next job was coming in. So in the end, I made the decision to move back to Yorkshire. And at the time, there was only ITV based up there. There wasn't hardly any indies. So it really kind of pushed me out for a little while. I had to really restock and think about what I wanted to do before coming back and moving back to London. And that's how I got back into publicity roles. So for me, launching a nationwide mentoring program is really key because I want to really tap into talent that are based in all of the regions, all backgrounds, all different ages, all different classes. You know, I'm working class. We definitely have a bit of a problem with class in telly. It's a little bit too posh, and you know, I do think we're missing out on really reaping the benefits of regional talent by being so elitist. And it's nice to see and feel that that's changing now, but there's still a lot of work to be done. So I see the Wonder Women Mentoring Programme really being at the forefront of changing that.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. And as you said at the beginning of this live, right, it's about telling diverse stories and giving them visibilities and having those conversations, starting those conversations.
Absolutely. And with long-term structured mentoring, pairing women with some of the best people in our industry who are going to share their wisdom and knowledge that they've accrued from working in the industry for 20 years. I mean, that's just worth its weight in gold, right? Could you imagine?
Absolutely. No, that's fantastic. And as a whole, I think a mentoring program at any stage in your career and in any industry is going to be incredibly valuable, because I think we can learn lots from each other, obviously. And I think just to go back to that aspect of networking, because it's so important, especially as you said, in the television and the creative industries. Obviously, coronavirus meant we couldn't meet people, that we couldn't have, that those in real life connections and networking possibilities. Can you tell us a bit more how you think with Wonder Woman TV and your other initiatives? Obviously, you were broadcasting from home as well and presenting from home. How did that impact your day-to-day, and how do you think this is going to be impacting the industry as well?
It's interesting because last year on March 8th, for International Women's Day, that was the day we held Wonder Women Live. Right. And at the very end of the event, somebody put their hand up and they said, "This is such an amazing event. I mean, the magic in this room is so powerful." Like, everyone felt so empowered. Do you think you could move this online?
Right.
They actually asked that. And I said, do you know what? I think we could, but I don't know if I want to, because this is so sacred, right? To be able to create such an energy where people openly share about their experiences and feel supported and safe to do that is so powerful. Would you maybe lose that if you were, speaking to thousands of people online? Maybe, I don't know. So I was like, you could do it, but I don't know if I want to. And then little did we know, a week later, we'd be on a national lockdown. So it just shows you, anything can happen. I mean, I'm very impressed with how fast the innovation has worked. I mean, I was hosting a global conference the other day around e-commerce, and Amazon was saying, what we're doing now, they forecast we'd be doing in 5 years' time.
Wow, okay.
Right, so the innovation is like bonkers. And I hosted another conference the other day for Retail Week, and they were saying what we're doing in the retail space is what they thought we'd be doing in 10 years' time. So it shows you how quickly we've all shifted. And that's why it's okay to take some time out from having Zooms, because they are really mentally taxing, right? Absolutely. And have a little digital detox. It's so important to look after yourself and just get grounded again. But at the same time, there's amazing innovation that's come that's allowed us to do this, which is something that we weren't doing 3 years ago, right?
Oh, absolutely. And also reach everyone internationally as well. And yes. I think it gives us the possibility to connect with probably people that wouldn't have been able to come to those physical events. So
absolutely. And for people with disabilities, people who can't afford to come to wherever the event is, you level that playing field and make it more accessible. So actually, it's really important. So it's interesting to see what will happen going forward. I think the businesses will adopt more of a hybrid model where you have some things that are in person, but you also have something in the virtual space so that it works for everyone.
Absolutely. And I think it's a great time as well to give a shout out to all the small businesses, self-employed, freelancers that have adapted so much over, I won't say the past year, it's more than a year now, but since
it's a year and a half. We're all tired.
It's hard to believe, but it's a year and a half.
Well done, everybody. But crucially, take some time to disconnect, because you've got to take that time to fill yourself up to be able to keep going, right? We're not machines, we're human beings, and we need to nurture and look after ourselves too.
Absolutely. And I actually have a question for you just after this about, your tips on for other, self-employed and freelancers and people thinking, and women especially thinking of starting the business. But just before we go into this, in terms of the work-life balance and obviously the online, offline, which is becoming ever present in our life right now, is there some, some tips or practical step that you'd like to share?
My key one, which I've been saying to lots of different people this week, is to set some boundaries. It's really important that you set some boundaries, because what's happening is while we're working from home, we've lost that commute time. So people, I'm hearing, are blocking in extra meetings because you're not commuting now, so you can be ready at 9 rather than at 10. So block out your diary on key days. I have a wellness hour. So every day, Monday to Friday, I'm just not available between 10 and 11. I don't check emails. I don't check my phone. I might read a book. I might sleep. I might go for a walk. I might do some yoga, but I'm not around for any meetings or work related stuff. And that means that I'm more productive. I'm more focused. I'm just generally well, right? Yeah. That's really important. Yeah. For freelancers who are thinking of setting up a business, or maybe people who are thinking of becoming freelance, I would absolutely encourage people to speak to other people who are freelancers first, because it's so important. There are so many benefits of being your own boss, but there are also loads of little hidden things that might drive you nuts. That if someone shared that with you beforehand, you might be like, actually, freelancing is not for me, right?
You need the full picture.
Yeah, so I was talking to someone the other day who's thinking about going freelance, and I was like, it's amazing. You can choose your own hours, and you can choose if you just don't want to work for 2 days of the week or 4 days of the week. It depends how productive you are. But when you're doing that job, you might be chasing someone for an invoice that needs paying from the previous job you did. You'll be having conversations with other people about another project you're going to be working on, all at the same time. So you do have to be organized. You do have to be productive. You do have to have a vision of like what you actually want to get out of life, because it might not be the right fit for you. And also with freelancing in television, we kind of go in waves. So you'll have like 4 really, really bonkers busy months. And so it's really important that you look after yourself, right? So you can ride that wave. And then you might have a couple of months where it's quiet, which is great, because you could then, when we can travel, obviously, go on a nice long holiday or just reconnect with family or whatever you want to do. That might be your like passion, leisure time. So I like freelancing because I get to choose my own week, right? I dictate what I do. I love that kind of creative element of that. Pick and choose what projects you want to work on. It's brilliant. But for some people, they might prefer the structure of knowing what they're doing every day, and everything is set a certain way, and they're paid on the same day every month. Like, those things really matter to some people. So there's swings and roundabouts.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly valuable as well to talk about it, because I feel like it's a fantastic career choice if it's the right one for you, and having those discussions, and once again just bringing it back to the network, asking fellow freelancers, business owners, self-employed to have this conversation to really understand, and I think we can talk about, maybe use the word lifestyle, because it is going to be a different mindset, and it's going to be different from the 9 to 5 with the paycheck on the very same day every month.
Yeah, but networking is so key, and it's been brilliant to see some of the women's networking groups that have popped up this year. I mean, I'm part of different groups, and I always feel so fulfilled and energized by going to those. A friend of mine set one up, which is, what's it called? I totally forgot. I feel terrible now. I forgot the name of the networking thing. I went to it this week, and I love it because we turn up it's once a month. You're with different women who work in the creative industries. You come together, you share what's working for you, what's not working for you, and then you split into groups and you just all help each other. I love that. That collective energy of just showing up to help someone else. Not showing up, what can I get out of this? Showing up and thinking, how can I help someone with my expertise and experience? Growth collab, that's what it's called. But there are others, there are others. Lean in, do loads of them all over the world, and I love that one because it's international, right? So I did one the other month. I was talking to someone in Michigan, someone in Spain, someone in Greece, all at the same time, and I was about Wonder Women, and it was so fun and just like, wow, just bouncing your ideas off people all over the world. And so there's lots of groups out there.
And I think that's another thing as well about the small business community and self-employed community, is this incredible energy and willingness and happiness to share knowledge and to exchange. And I think this is truly wonderful. And you know, going back to Wonder Woman TV and the networking program, and supporting women in the television, creative industries, and also, you know, just in the career. We also at Tide have a commitment, because we think it's incredibly important to encourage more women to start their own businesses. So we made the commitment supporting 100,000 women to start their businesses by 2023. So coming.
I love that. It's such a clear goal. I do love a goal, and that is a clear one.
It's a very clear one. It's one we're really passionate about, and personally me as well. And just, you know, seeing more women creating the business is absolutely fantastic.
It's so important. It's so important. The UK is the startup capital of Europe, yet there is only 5% of businesses that are female led. That is shocking, because it's not for a lack of, you know, talent. It's just not for a lack of that. So let's look at the barriers of that, right? It's that people don't have the time because they're really busy, often because women are caregivers. It's because of imposter syndrome, right? It's something we all feel no matter how successful we are. But it's also because of the bias in the finance sector that grant people the seed money to be able to grow. So I think it's brilliant that Tide are really, you know, spearheading that and addressing that issue. And you've got a clear deadline, and it's just great that Wonder Woman's a part of it. So thank you.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. And it's, you know, we want to give visibility and voices to women having their businesses, because representation matters. And I think when you touch base on the imposter syndrome, I think it's so important that more women see more women having their own businesses as well, to just take the leap and go for it. You know, you with Wonder Woman TV and the networking program, you've already achieved so much. I mean, the program launched in January, and you've already been nominated for a National Diversity Award. So congratulations. I mean,
thank you. Well, I haven't won it. I've been nominated.
The nomination is still, you know, a great achievement. So yeah, what I really wanted to ask you about is really, what are the next steps for Wonder Woman TV, and, you know, the objectives? How do you see it?
Well, it's all about growing and expanding, right? Building on the existing portfolio that we've got. You know, at the very core of Wonder Women, it's all about community. It's all about elevating diverse women in television, the creative industries, and there's still so much work to be done. So it's growing and expanding that across the country, and with the support of sponsors, you know, really rolling out quite an innovative program that can really help elevate hundreds, if not thousands, of women. You know, this was such an exciting year to trial it with 17 people who are already doing amazing things. I mean, I got an email from one woman the other day, and I couldn't believe it. She said, in the 5 months she's been on this program, well, it's 6 now because we're June, she has had more job offers than she's ever had in the past 4 years.
Wow.
So she was like, the confidence it's given her, the sense of community and support and friendship is enough in itself, but to also have the work as well gives her that confidence to believe in herself, right? So for me, that is just better than any award, because it's like, wow, you're really impacting someone's career and their life in such a positive way.
Absolutely. And it speaks volume, right, when it's impacting someone's life directly. And once again, it means like another woman is going to have that, you know, career in the television and creative industry. So that's fantastic. That's
I know, rather than leaving, it's fabulous.
That's really fantastic. And in terms of so Wonder Woman TV, for everyone, you can go and check out the website, the Instagram profile. All the videos and the podcast are available for anyone watching us today, right?
Yeah, at wonderwomantv.com, and we're across all socials as well. Check us out. It'd be lovely to join you to join our community.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Well, everyone go and check out Wonder Woman TV profile after this. One thing I wanted to ask you, and then we'll take the questions from the audience that they submitted. And if you are watching us live right now and have any question for Ria, please do put it in the comments just at the bottom. My question really is about you know, obviously you are an incredibly successful freelancer. You do it all freelance, which I find amazing, and you have been doing so well, and like your career is very impressive. So I really wanted to ask you to share any tips and practical steps for any woman and or male, like any gender, but especially for women that are either thinking of going freelance or going self-employed, or that are already. But yeah, if you have any tips to share with them.
Yeah. So my first thing would be, as I said, to speak to other freelancers. That's the key thing. Really, really important that you speak to other freelancers who also work in the industry you want to be in, but also get an objective opinion of a freelancer that's not in your sector too, because they can bring lots of wisdom with that. Get an accountant, because that's just, they will save you a whole world of pain. Get an accountant. Don't connect with other people, other women, through the networking groups that I've said. So for television, there is a Women in Film and Television group. There's Wonder Women. There's the Royal Television Society. There's BAFTA. What else is there? There's brilliant networks there which you can tap into to meet other freelancers, and on all of their websites as well. There's loads of content where you can watch panel discussions with some of the creatives to really hear about some of the issues that are affecting our industry, and also see who the thought leaders are and who are the change makers, because it's really important that you connect with them and you know, to expand your network. So do all of that. If it's also good to have a vision board, right?
Right.
To set yourself goals of what you want to achieve for yourself that are time sensitive. So I love that Tide's one is to help 100,000 female-led businesses by 2023. So you got a clear deadline of when you got to hit that, right? So you're busy, but it's not too pressurized because you've still got more time. But yeah, setting yourself really clear goals that are achievable but that are time sensitive really helps you focus, especially if you're not someone that's quite driven, and also working out what time of the day you're most productive. Right. Is really, really valuable too. So for me, I'm a bit of a lark, early bird. I do like to get up at like 5:30, 6. It's just how I'm wired. Yeah. But it's great because I have a young family. It means I can get the laptop out, have a nice coffee, chill with my little dog and work through stuff. It doesn't mean sending stuff so early. You can just draft it, right? But it just means while you've got that headspace, you can do that work and then send it later. So working out when you're most productive will also really help you manage your time. Yeah, totally. Get a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, look at people that you admire and reach out to them and ask them if they have the capacity to be your mentor. Often a lot of people are happy to share their learning and experience with you so long as they've got the capacity to do it. And I found my mentor on LinkedIn. And I just contacted her and I said, I really admire your work. I think you're really strategic and you've got that global vision. And I really benefit just from bouncing some ideas off you and just seeing if you could help guide me. And over time, they become your friends. Yeah. So don't be afraid to reach out to people that you admire. And if you have an idea for a business and you're really wanting to start that, I'd really recommend that you assemble an advisory board. So for Wonder Women, I have an advisory board of people who are experts in specific fields, right? So there is Remy, who is an expert in business. She used to work at Goldman Sachs. There is Dawn, who has a global, international strategic vision because of her business background. There is Sharon, who's like a corporate senior publicist. So she's my publicity person. Then there's Hayley, who's our legal head. Do you see what I mean? So she's got all the legal. So as you're building your brand, lots of things will come up about IP, how to protect your brand. So Hayley's our go-to person for that. And Emmy, who's a marketing specialist. So assembling a group of people that believe in your vision, believe in your values and what you want to achieve, but have specific expertise that you can always tap into for advice and share your plans with them, really equips you for success and allows you to grow confidently.
It's your team of experts that you can tap into, exactly as you said. And I think it's incredibly important to remind everyone thinking about going freelance or thinking about launching their business that they don't have to do it all and do it all by themselves.
No, and you must, I mean, when you're first getting started, it will be just you. Yes. I mean, I literally filmed Wonder Women when I was 7 months pregnant with my daughter. And I knew it was a really powerful thing to do. I did that because I was like, do you know what? It's important that I show people watching that you can still present a show and produce it all yourself while growing a human. Like, women are amazing. We can do amazing things. Yeah. And this should make you feel empowered that, well, if Ria can do that, then I can do that, right? There's a lot of power in that. So I'm really proud of the fact that I did that. When she was 4 days old, I remember breastfeeding her and launching the content on the website, you know, actually launching it. That's incredible. Yeah, it's nuts. No, it's nuts. But I say to her, I'm like, as you grow, Wonder Woman's growing too. Like, she's a real embodiment of like the journey I've been on in launching Wonder Women. But it's wonderful.
Yeah, and it's wonderful to be able to, I'm guessing, to share that with your children as well, and to be able to you know, to say, I've done all of this, so can you. I think it's very important to transmit that into the younger generations as well.
Absolutely, you're sharing that work ethic. But at the same time, to be able to grow, you do need to share and delegate and palm some bits off with other people, right? So what I use, and this is a good tip actually, there's a brilliant website called Upwork, and that's a global database of freelancers. Yeah. So that's a brilliant way to reach out to people to ask if they could do certain bits of what you need, like maybe it's marketing, maybe it's design work, maybe it's, you know, helping build your website, and paying them because they have the expertise and experience to do bits that you can't do, because we can't do everything ourselves. Like you said, it's really important to not try and do it all yourself. And that actually takes a lot of the stress away from it, because you feel empowered because you're supported by, you know, freelancers all over the world.
And you're also supporting the network and other freelancers, right? So I think it's
the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good karma.
Yeah, absolutely. And community is so important. Talking about community, let's see if we have any questions from them, and I can already see some. And also, so please do, all of you watching us live, and thank you for being with us today, please do ask your questions in the comment box, and I'm going to click on that. Okay.
Yes, thank you everyone for joining live, because nowadays we're bombarded with so much content. It's actually really rare that we turn up live to watch things anymore, you know?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, thank you again. And also for the ones watching us later, thank you as well. We'll put this on YouTube and on our website as well.
That's right.
So we have a question from Scott. Scott, thank you so much. And the question is, who would Ria love to interview? That's a fantastic question.
Oh, Scott, that's a good one. I think I would love to interview the American director, Amma Asante. Right. No, not Amma Asante. Amma Asante is the British director. I'd like to interview her actually, but I'd like to interview Ava DuVernay, who is the American film director, because Ava directed The 19th, which is on Netflix, which is a really, really important documentary about social justice in the legal system in prisons. It's quite a shocking documentary, so be kind to yourself when you watch that, because it's quite uncomfortable. But she's very she's a change maker, right? She is very progressive. She films things around social issues. She also filmed a film, it was a TV series actually, called When They See Us on Netflix, and that was about the exonerated these five young boys in the 80s who were black, and they were wrongly incarcerated for something they didn't do. They were just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, but they actually spent something like 20 years in prison. It was unbelievable. So she makes really provocative films and pieces of television that always have some kind of social issue embedded in it. And I think that's important that while we watch things that entertain us and that inform us, but also educate us about things, right? It's very easy to go through life being passive, not thinking you can do anything to change stuff. So I like her work a lot. So I'd love to chat to Ava about that. Yeah.
Fantastic. So hopefully she sees this as well.
Oh, Ava, yes. Let's get you on the Wonder Women podcast.
Fantastic. There is another question from Thrishti who says, "Hi Ria, I'm a fan. Can you please tell us about your favorite TV moment?" Oh, great question.
Oh my goodness. Favorite TV moment? What, where I was filming TV or where I was watching something else? I suppose it's when I was in it.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Okay. I think one of my favorite TV moments was when I was presenting live on This Morning, and I was up at the Lake District, and they wanted me to, to say, "Oh, I'm here in the Lake District and I'm having a lovely time." And I was with all these children, and we were on an animal farm, right? And when I rocked up on the day, I thought, oh, they always say, don't they? Don't work with children and don't work with animals. And I'm working with, we're having it all this morning. We're just going to go for it. Now, I think because I've got children, I've always actually been quite good with kids. So I had a lovely chat with them all before and was like, right, if I come to you and ask you a question, are you going to be really shy? Because I can't have anyone that's shy today. I want someone who's going to talk to me. And they were like, we're all going to talk. And I was like, you promise? They were like, okay. So I thought, okay, we're good with the kids. This lady who owned the farm was bringing all these animals. So we had like this giant turtle on the floor. We had guinea pigs, bunnies, donkeys, like we had it all going on. Wow. And I remember sitting there trying to listen to Eamon and Ruth, who were in the studio in London. And I couldn't hear a word they were saying because all these kids were so excited, and that's fine. But I was trying so hard. And then seconds before we went live, the lady, the owner of the farm, brought this like massive python out. And I was like, is that a good idea? Because where are you going to put that? And she's like, oh, she's going to put it on the floor around you. I was like, what, with all the bunnies and all the guinea pigs? And I was like, I've got this vision of this python like jumping and eating a bunny and then traumatizing all the kids. And I remember like the director of my ear, Lewis, he was like, oh, coming to you in 5. And I was like, can we please get rid of the python? And she quickly ran off and got rid of this python. And I cannot tell you, my heart was going a million miles an hour because I just thought, I'm so glad we got rid of that python before we went live, because this lovely little setup of the animals and the children could have easily become a horror show.
On TV.
Yes, on TV. I mean, it would have gone viral, right? But the worry was these poor kids would have been traumatized. And how do I keep talking while there's like horror happening all around me?
Oh my God. I mean, great shout for seeing that happening beforehand. And also, yeah. I think it's fantastic because probably you never thought you'd say, can we get rid of the python? I don't think that's a sentence any of us would think about pronouncing.
Well, this is it, right? Telly teaches you to just always think on your toes. Anything can happen. Hopefully no one's going to die, and just have fun with it. But for me, I'm glad that I was quick on my feet there thinking, actually, let's get rid of the python.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Another great tip, always think on your toes. Fantastic.
Trust your gut, right? Trust your instinct. That's so important.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Good question.
Yeah, great question. And then we have a question from Jessica. Ria, is there anything you wish you'd known or thought of before you were just launching? That's question 1. And then there's second.
That is a really good question. Just before launching, anything that I wish I'd known? I'm sure there was lots of different things, but I think I wish I'd known about Upwork, because I only found out about that, I'd say 2 years ago. And they're so valuable, because what happens is the more you use them and you test different people, you then build a community of experts that you trust, right? So that totally takes the pressure away, because if you've got something that you want designing, you know that you've got that person that designed the last thing that was brilliant, turned it around really quickly, was really professional, so you feel supported. I think a lot of it is feeling, because it's just you, right? I think a lot of it is empowering yourself with a community of other freelancers so you feel supported. You're never really on your own, but it does sometimes feel like that. And it can be really, you can really quickly become overwhelmed. So it's important that you build a network of people around you that can help support you in the busier times. So I wish I'd known about Upwork earlier, because I did a lot in my bed with a tiny baby while breastfeeding. And I kind of think, you could have enjoyed that a little bit more without your Mac on your lap in the bed. Do you know what I mean?
And doing it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And just to sum up on this, so the network of other freelancers and experts, surround yourself with that. And then you mentioned about hiring an accountant early on. Is there any other maybe, software or, tools that helped you?
Yeah, well, joining Tide was a game changer because of the software where you can tag your receipts and invoices. That just makes everything so much easier, right? It streamlines the process, so that's an absolute game changer. And for me, I really liked joining Tide because it spoke to me in the fact that it was supporting entrepreneurs. Little things like you don't get monthly charges for things when you're just starting out. If you can avoid paying those charges, that really helps you invest that money back into the business, right, to help it grow. So it's little things like that that actually make a massive difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic to know that it was helpful and still helpful. That's
still is, yeah.
Brilliant. And Jessica has a second question. How do you best identify KOLs in your field? I feel there are so many. Don't know if I'm reading this correctly.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean by that? How do you best identify KOLs in your field? I feel there are so many. Oh, what if I press?
Jessica, if you want to maybe tell.
Can you expand on that, Jessica? You've completely thrown me.
I'm going to, whilst Jessica maybe is explaining to us, I'm just going to read if there is any other comments. I know there was a question about the tools as freelancers as well, but I feel like we've
covered that, haven't we?
Yeah, I think we've covered that.
And also, I'd recommend reading the industry trade press. I don't think many people read what's happening in the industry and what's being discussed in the industry. And I think being informed is really important too, because as you expand your network, you then have conversations with senior people, right? So it's important that you're across who's merged with who, what's the new tech platform coming out that maybe you should put your business on. All those things are really important. So reading the trade press is key.
Yeah, and stay up to date, right?
Yeah. And just having something to say about the national conversation as well is really important. I mean, I read Broadcast, which is our industry trade magazine, and it's great because you can keep across all of the discussions, who's merged with who's been poached, and who's now the manager of what. So it just really helps you when you then go into those businesses and have meetings, because you're informed. So do your research. I think the learning never ends. So it's really important to keep investing in your own development too.
And knowledge is power, right? So absolutely. Oh, Jessica, thank you so much for
thank you.
So Jessica is saying key opinion leaders, influencers. So how do you best identify key opinion leaders and influencers in your field? I feel that there are so many.
Yes. So again, looking at the trade press, right? So who are the thought leaders? Who are the panelists at industry events that are discussing the issues that might affect you or your area of business or your sector? They're the people that you want to be following on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and really engaging with the discussion so that if you get to meet them or if you want to reach out to them to, put your business forward or to put your services forward, then you're already aware of what they're working on, what they're launching, where they've come from before. All of that stuff's really important because eventually they'll become part of your network. So for me, reading Broadcast magazine is a really good way of staying informed of who the key thought leaders are, who the change makers are. So when I go to those events, I feel confident talking to them because I've done my research.
Absolutely. So
because networking is not for everyone, right? A lot of people find it quite daunting, and I respect that. It's not for everybody. I think, for extroverts, it's a joy to network, but if you're quite introverted, it can be terrifying. So just doing that little bit of research before will make you feel more confident. If you're in a lift with someone, you can just have a chat because you know what they've been up to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. Just a bit of preparation, right?
Yeah, but it makes a massive difference.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much, Jessica. I hope this answers your question. Thanks, Ria. So helpful. Okay. I think.
Ah, thank you. And thanks for coming back.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. And thank you all so much. I think we just have some very lovely feedback, like Super Mama and some hearts.
Oh, thank you. You're all so kind.
I was seeing as well a few other feedback up in the feed about how they loved seeing you on Lorraine as well. So
Oh, thank you for watching. Do you know, I'll tell you what I'm doing tomorrow, which is a little bit bonkers. You know, because the England football team was seen in a hot yoga pod to help their fitness as they play through the Euro football. I'm going to be in a hot yoga pod tomorrow morning.
wow. Okay.
So this is what I mean, how varied television can be. One day you're on a farm with children and wild animals, and the next minute you're in a hot yoga pod presenting live on telly.
You just never know, right? It's quite exciting. It's quite exciting.
It's amazing, but again, really important that you look after yourself so that you're well and you're healthy. You can do these things.
Well, hopefully you can actually enjoy the yoga tomorrow.
Yeah, well, I love yoga, so actually, I'm up for it. I'll give anything a go.
Oh, well, please tell us how that go. I'd love to know. Maybe I should give it a go as well. I'm only doing regular yoga.
I'm intrigued because obviously it will be like they heat this pod that blows up. You go inside it, they heat it really hot, but they also, what I like is they infuse it with different, like aromatherapy oils.
Oh,
To help me feel a bit more zen. So I quite like that. I'll probably fall asleep.
Well, maybe not with the heat, but we never know. I never expect to fall asleep at yoga and then here I am sleeping. So maybe. Well, I hope you have a great time tomorrow then. I'm really looking forward to seeing it on TV. Ria, thank you again so much for being with us today, taking the time, replying to all the questions. It was really, really wonderful to have you.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope everybody found what I said valuable, and best of luck with your businesses. And thank you so much for setting this up. I've enjoyed myself.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you all for watching us live. Oh, I'm seeing another feedback from Emma Lian. Thank you both. So inspirational and empowering. Oh, well, that's fantastic.
Oh,
that's everything.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Thank you all for watching us live. And Ria, thank you again so much. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.